What's up, guys? It's Chris here to give some post-fight thoughts on last night's Strikeforce Heavyweight Tournament opening first round event. Obviously, the big news of the night and of the event is the loss of Fedor Emelianenko to Antonio Bigfoot Silva. Man, I will say this: it was a very exciting fight while it lasted. It's funny because with Fedor, there's certain fighters, whether it be in MMA or boxing, for myself personally, that your level of excitement and just your energy level, your adrenaline level, I don't know what it is. It all is a bit heightened during their fights. Usually it's the top guys, particularly guys like Fedor, also some of your favorite fighters. My favorite fighter, Nick Diaz. When he fights, I also get that same level of intensity raised a little bit while watching the fight. That was definitely the case here, being the fact that Fedor was coming off his first loss in basically forever. And, just the stakes were very high. And, the first round was a really exciting round. Both guys kind of swinging for the fences, going for it. Some clinching against the fence, kind of seeing whether or not Fedor could deal with that size and strength advantage that Antonio Silva had. It was a good, even first round. I thought Fedor had edged it out. Thought he was looking good. Didn't look like he had really lost too much of a step that people may have presumed heading into this fight. Second round, though, you got to give Antonio Silva big credit. I don't know if it was him or his corner that instructed him to shoot for the takedown when they knew Fedor would probably throw that big punch. He got it, and from there on, he pretty much dominated Fedor. Something I wouldn't have anticipated. Even if someone told me Silva was going to win the fight, I would have never imagined that he would have been able to dominate Fedor on the ground the way he was able to in that second round. The way he was able to get side control and mount and just control the positioning so seamlessly over Fedor was quite amazing, because Fedor, he's always shown a pretty strong ground game in the past from both top and bottom position. So I was surprised at the way Silva was able to control him there and just dominate with the ground and pound. I really thought that he was going to submit him with that arm triangle choke. I really thought the fight was over. Somewhat reminiscent of Brock Lesnar, Shane Carwin. But credit to Fedor. Fedor's face was even getting red like he did in the Verdum loss. But credit to Fedor, he was able to survive that. Credit to Fedor for being able to survive that onslaught of barrage of ground and pound from Silva, And he did get out of the round, Some refs might have actually stopped that fight. I'm glad Dan Miragliotta did not. But Fedor did, to his credit, did survive that round. Actually went for a foot lock or ankle lock late, but wasn't able to secure it. And fortunate or unfortunate, depends on the way you want to look at it. The fight was stopped in after the second round due to Fedor's eyes being closed, swollen shut. Personally, I think it was a good stoppage. Got to look up at the safety of the fighter. I doubt that Fedor would have been much more effective moving on with that eye that closed, that swollen. And it looked like Silva kind of was in full control of the fight at that stage. So what can I say? Big credit to Antonio Bigfoot Silva. Very surprising, somewhat stunning to see Fedor lose like that. Lose back-to-back, no less, Definitely, in his post-fight speech, it sounds like he's leaning towards retirement. Definitely felt like an end of an era, a changing of the guard, I said last week on the Science Fights radio show, the thing about Fedor is, I think he's still a great fighter, an all-time great, but it seems like he hasn't progressed with the sport. Or maybe he's getting old, I don't know, but definitely seems like his best may be behind him, and a new generation of fighters, heavyweights, are moving in, and Antonio Bigfoot Silva is one of those fighters. So, if Fedor does indeed retire, credit for a great career. If he continues to fight on, I'll definitely be interested in seeing it. I'll, be just as excited to see what he has left, if anything. I think he does have something left. It would depend on the matchup, but either way, great, exciting fight, to cap off a great event, in my opinion. As for the other fights, Andrei Arlovski, Sergey Hartonov, I believe I picked Andrei Arlovski to win this fight. I thought the speed advantage, and his athleticism would give him the advantage. And he was doing well early on. He was getting the better of the striking, using that speed, although he did put his back against the fence a couple times. But unfortunately, Andrei Arlovski's biggest liability, and one that is a big detriment if you're a fighter, his chin, or lack thereof, cost him this fight. Once Hartonov was able to catch him, clip him once, he hurt him, and Andrei was not able to recover. Hartonov smartly was all over him, got him on the ground. I think Andrei was coherent when he was on the ground, but then Hartonov just devastated with some serious bombs. Was able to close out the fight. So good win for Sergey Harritonov. Moves on to the tournament. Andrei Arlovsky, man, that's a guy who might want to look into retirement. I was actually frightened when they showed Arlovsky. I mean, he looked like he could have been dead. I'm not trying to be funny either. He honestly looked like he could have been dead, laying there, prone in the position he was in. The referee needs to be in a better position to stop that fight. He was way on the wrong side and too far back. You got to be close to be able to stop that kind of get a stoppage in there earlier. But man, Arlovsky, I'm not saying he should retire, but I think it might be in his best interest the way he's lost 4 in a row and 3 of them by knockout. Looking forward to seeing what Harritonov has in this tournament moving forward, though. Also on the card, we got Shane Del Rosario, LeVar Johnson. Alternate bout, if one of the guys falls out. Pretty decent scrap, not the best technique overall, but 2 big guys going at it. I would say it was pretty even on the feet for the most part, but once it got to the ground, LeVar Johnson just showed that he has absolutely no ground game, particularly on his back. Just really could not defend or do anything. That armbar that Del Rosario won with was pretty sloppy, pretty amateurish, but he was able to secure it and get the win. So Del Rosario moves on, and if one of these fighters falls out of the tournament, Del Rosario will be slotted in that position. Chad Griggs, Gian Vellante, another not the best technique, but a good exciting fight. Well, it lasted. It looked like Griggs was getting the better of it, even though Vellante is supposedly the better athlete. Griggs was landing the cleaner strikes. It seemed to be having more effect on Vellante. Vellante was having some success as well, particularly with that kick, that high kick that busted Griggs' cauliflower ear and had him bleeding like a pig. But credit to Griggs, kept moving forward, landed a big punch, hurt Vellante, and finished him off with strikes. The ref stopped that. That was a fair stoppage. Vellante didn't complain about it. So good, exciting fight. Sloppy, yes, but entertaining, definitely. And of course, we open the night with Valentin over and Ray Sefo. Striker versus grappler. This fight went the way I thought it would. Sefo wasn't able to land the big strike. Valentin got him on the ground, and once he did, he submitted him with a very amateurish-like submission. This is something you would see back in the days of early UFC or Pride. It was like a neck crank. Didn't even look that powerful, But Sefo, I think, just panicked. Just knew once it was on the ground, it was all over with. So Valentin over him, gets a win, and, good win for him. Not a whole lot more to say about that. I will say this, though, about Strikeforce events, man. I understand as a longtime MMA fan, the UFC is the better product. That they have the majority of the better fighters in every division, although heavyweight could be debated. That said, there is no doubt in my mind that Strikeforce, at least for the last few events, particularly the last 3, has had more entertaining events than UFC. I was really looking forward to UFC 126. Really didn't live up to the billing, in my opinion. The last 3 Strikeforce events, last night's event, the event with previous one with Nick Diaz headlining, and the one before that, in late December, I forgot who was all in it. I believe Robbie Lawler, KO'd Matt Lindland, and Paul Daly Scott Smith. Those 3 events were all exciting. I believe all fights had finishes. Just entertaining events, They may not have the same level of caliber fighters. All the matches might not be evenly matched up, but it makes for entertaining, exciting fights, And Strikeforce has really been on a roll. And last night that continued. So, really enjoyed the event last night. It really flew by. A lot of, heavyweight tournaments, sometimes you think it's going to be good, exciting fights, or it's going to be long, boring fights. And fortunately for fans, it turned out to be quick, exciting fights and finishes. And, just really looking forward to watching the next Strikeforce event and, of course, watching the heavyweight tournament as it moves forward. That's pretty much it for now, guys. I will be talking about this event along with, everything else going on in MMA and boxing on a Science Finance radio show in a little bit over our time if you're watching this. 3 o'clock Pacific, 6 Eastern, 5 Central. You can call in if you guys want to give thoughts on the show or on last night's event or anything else. Yeah, so that's that. If you can't catch it live, you can always catch the podcast or on demand. I'll put a link to the show and the information part of the video as usual, as well as a link to my Twitter. And that's it for now. I want to hear your guys' thoughts on the event. I want to hear your guys' thoughts on Fedor, whether or not you think he should retire or whether or not you think he has something left. And whether or not you think Andrei Arlovsky should retire or not. And who you favor in the tournament going forward, just what you saw last night. That's it for now. Until next time, guys, I'm out.